The annual awards are a tough act to follow, but we are fortunate tonight to have just the person to do it. Our keynote speaker is a storm chaser and one of the most recognized faces in weather. Jim Cantore is known nationwide for his live reports from several weather events. Jim embodies the passion and knowledge of the Weather Channel television network that makes him the weather authority viewers turn to when the forecast turns dire. I was text messaging him this morning with the weather turning dire. I'm like, Jim, what's going on? And he let me in on all the scoop. All I had to do was look outside, but it was great. He has covered every major weather event in the past 30 years, including Hurricanes Harvey and Irma, solidifying his role and the role of the Weather Channel as a leading source for severe weather coverage. Jim is well known for his animated, tenacious style, both in the field and in the studio. Jim is a big fan of Utah, skiing here often as possible, and was excited to come here tonight and spend a few days on our world-famous slopes, of course, if you can get to them, because he brought all the snow with him. Before we welcome Jim to the stage, let's take a look at some highlights from his 30 years at the Weather Channel.
I've been advised that Jim Cantore is on hand with an interesting interview, and we'll just throw it to Jim.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I don't know what your idea of a good time is, but this ain't it.
My first job out of college. I've always treasured that. Mr. Tom, a little bit. How about it? Just looking at you, kid. We're onto something here.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our keynote speaker, Jim Cantore.
Good evening, everybody. Very, very excited to be here. This is pretty awesome for me, to come out, because in a way, we're kind of all on the same page. I care about people. I want to get them out of harm's way, and I want to do what I can before and during a storm to accomplish that mission. And certainly, you guys care about your state, about your city, and where you go with air quality. So looking forward to talking to you guys tonight. It's kind of interesting. Governor Herbert's son actually has some meteorology in his background. And to give you an idea how small the world is, I have a friend who lives in Utah. Her name is Jody Salen. He said, I had the governor's son intern with me back in the day. So it's nice to kind of see that come full circle here. What I'm going to do with you guys tonight a little bit is talk about the unique temperature inversion that is Salt Lake City, because you're going to always have it. This is the way you're shaped here. What you put into that inversion is the key, all right? And then we're going to have a little fun, because there's been some videos that you saw at the top of the hour here. There's been some videos that I've helped produce myself out in the snow, and there's a little thunder and lightning going on. There's a little kid at College of Charleston who just happened to run up to me when I was down there covering an ice storm. But a lot of times you don't know what actually is the foreground and the background story there. What's really going on? So I'm going to tell you some of those stories that go on. So let's talk a little bit about this inversion. And the picture that I have there, which I'll widen out a little bit, is one that I took from a plane coming into Salt Lake to ski in 2014. All right, so you can see how perfect that thing is. And what was really cool is me and my roommate from college, we go on a ski trip every year, and we rented a car, and we drove up the canyon toward Snowbird, and sure enough, you could watch the temperature go from cold to warm as you head up and above that inversion. So it was really kind of cool to watch that, but I'll never forget seeing how perfect that was. But then if you look at Salt Lake City, regardless of where you are at in the climate issue, it doesn't matter. You're always going to have temperature inversions because you're a geothermal bowl down here. Cold air likes to drain down in the valley and sit there. And then in the wintertime, not this year because you've got an El Nino, when you've got a high pressure overhead, it's just going to cap that inversion. And it could sit there for a couple of days, it could sit there for a couple of weeks. It just depends on how long that pattern sets up. So you're just set up for that. And it's not just a day thing, it doesn't go away. It's still around at night, Sometimes when the lights go through it, you get an idea of what all the different pollutants look like. So in a standard atmosphere, the atmosphere likes to cool as you go up. All right, temperatures typically decrease with height. But what happens in a temperature inversion is whether you're getting the cold air to sink down from the mountains or you get that nice big high pressure ridge aloft, this little warm layer in between is what traps everything. And it can be deep, and it's certainly deep with your inversion. And there's the problem. Unless you can mix it out with a front or a snowstorm like we had today, it sits around for a while. So these are the problems. I mean, when I saw this, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is classic, Salt Lake City here. The winter sun, low. This time of the year, it doesn't get to the ground and mix out the inversion, so it stays. It's not strong enough to do so. The warmer air aloft acts like a lid and holds the cold air and, most importantly, the pollutants down toward the ground. And the pollution from wood fires and cars, which is the majority of your issue here in Salt Lake City, is trapped under that inversion. And of course, mountains around a valley can enhance and strengthen that inversion. So this graph was made pretty much for Salt Lake City. Enjoy listening to you, Governor, about your investment in air quality. It does take leadership like that and the different programs that are going on. I was looking through this article and I saw, the big thing that you did last fall with the snow blowers that I think some of these people may wish they still had today, given what we have outside, but exchanging them for electric. And this program was so robust, it was 20 times what you expected it to be in terms of the people that signed up for it. So, I get the idea that people care, and they certainly want to breathe better air here in Salt Lake City. But let's look at a couple of the numbers here. All right, this kind of struck me a little bit in this article that Donna put out. All right, if you look at what you were in 2002, 1 ton per person, where you've come in 2017 by 0.5 ton, and then you consider the growth, is that in fact by the math an advantage? Maybe so, because you've certainly got cleaner air, right? But then if you look at the population potential, which is 3 times what it is today, you'd have to take that 0.5 ton and divide it by 3 just to break even, right? But I certainly get the feeling by the dedication you guys have that you can accomplish that goal and go beyond the 0.166 per person. All right, so let's have a little fun. As you saw from the top of the hour and what Tom talked about, I don't know what it is along the way in my 30 years, but it's almost like people just expect when I show up in their town that something horrible is going to happen. So what happened when I showed up in Salt Lake City yesterday? We got the worst snowstorm in 25 years. The first time you shut down schools in 25 years. That's unbelievable. I swear I didn't plan that. I didn't bring it with me, but it just happens. But back about 7 years ago, the Weather Channel decided, hey, you know what? Why don't we do a little spoof on this? Why don't we have a little fun with Cantore? And so we went to Wilmington, North Carolina, and we shot this commercial.
Everybody can use a vacation, but sharing it with the Weather Channel's Jim Cantore can be a little unnerving. Look, we get it. Usually when Jim shows up, bad weather isn't far behind. But can't the guy get a break when he's on a break?
Every vacation.
Catch the Weather Channel's Jim Cantore all summer long. Just hopefully not on your beach.
Yeah. So it's interesting. We played that on the air on TV like 7 years ago, and then they only played it for one season. But somebody grabbed a hold of it and they put it on social media. They put it on YouTube, and every time there's a hurricane or tropical storm, it goes absolutely nuts. And going to town to Wilmington to shoot that, people were asking me like, "Holy cow, Cantore, what's happening? Why are you here?" I'm like, "Oh no, we're just here to shoot a commercial." "Really? You sure?" "Yeah, I'm sure." So it was just funny to watch the whole thing set up. All right, so a couple of smaller things here. When you're in the studio, you've got all these people talking to you in your ear. All right, and a lot of times when we start to use bigger parts of the studio, you have to kind of clear everybody out. Cameras, everybody. And sometimes you just don't get out of the way in time.
There's this thing called the urban heat island effect. And right in a city, you have all of these buildings. Now, there's a couple things that makes that significant. First of all, everything radiates energy.
Did you catch that guy on the left there? So like, "Cantore, get out of the way. Get out of the shot." I'm like, "Wait a minute, the camera's way over there on Stephanie. How can I be in that shot?" So, especially in the days of these great graphics that we're starting to do now in the studio, you gotta get out of the way. All right, so fast forward a little bit to 2017 Hurricane Harvey. All right, we all remember that coming into the Texas coast as a Cat 4, first one since 2004, I think, with Charlie, yeah. And then it, of course, came up and flooded Houston, which is really the calling card of Harvey. Back in the day, they used to have us out, top and bottom of the hour, doing live shots in a severe weather event, which was fine. We could get in and get out of the weather, get a little break, and then go out and rough it again for 2 to 3 minutes. Now, they're like, why would we want to take them out of the weather? Why do we want to take the camera off of them? Let's let them host the weather event from the field. So oftentimes now we're out 4 to 8 hours in the event, covering the event. We're the anchor. So instead of anchoring from the studio, we anchor from the field. And so there's all sorts of things going on. When you're doing that, there'll be a producer in your ear saying, "Hey, throw to this shot, throw to that shot, go to, Dr. Nab back in the studio." And so somebody got in my ear and they said, "Jim, go to Donny Schwartz." Okay. So I threw to Donny Schwartz.
All right, Donny Schwartz is with us this evening from NBC. She is in Titusville and files this report.
Yeah, here in Titusville, the winds are definitely picking up.
All right, Donny, apologies. Since I've never met you, I didn't know your gender, but it doesn't matter. Great report, buddy.
Yeah. Anyway, so Dottie is not Dottie, it's Gotti. But when you're out there and the wind's blowing at 50 to 70 miles an hour and you get rain hitting you in the head, Dottie sounds like Gotti. So that was a little embarrassing. And Gotti does a great job for NBC, so my apologies to him. All right, like I mentioned to you guys, we kind of host these shows now during winter storms, blizzards, floods, what have you. And there was a nice little winter storm that came into Connecticut last winter. January or February, I can't remember. Actually, it was February of 2018. And this was just the end of a long trip because we went from, Boston to Worcester. The rain. If you're any New Englanders in here, the rain. Yeah. So the rain snow line changes a little bit when you're getting close to a storm. So we wound up all the way in Western Connecticut near Danbury, in a little town called Berlin. And so at the end of the long day, behind me in my whole shot was this huge hill, and it was just full of snow. And I thought, I'm going to have a little fun on the hill.
Look at the hill. Here we go, baby. Woo! 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 Wow! What a hitter! Hitter! I'm dizzy. I'm a little dizzy right now.
Anyway, I don't really have any comments after that. That speaks for itself. Winter 2015-2016. Any Bostonians in the room? 108 inches of snow, exactly. They got crushed. We literally lived up there. We were on air. I mean, I had people coming up to me and say, Cantore, you want to buy my condo? Okay, you're up here so much. They see something here. So, we had to find out different ways to do television. We couldn't just stand there in the snow all. So we were with NBC at the time, and we were driving around. If you've ever been in East Boston or in the North Shore, these are very tight streets. These used to have horse and buggy, not cars. And they're certainly not meant for cars parked on both sides of the streets. But when you get 4 to 6 feet of snow and it doesn't melt, it really can pile up in there. So we're driving around, and we thought as we go by somebody, we just thought we would talk to them and ask them how it's going. And sometimes they don't really feel like talking to you.
Excuse me. How you doing there, young man? Good. What type of job do you think you got here? 20 minutes, an hour?
Why?
Well, I just want to know how long you think it's going to take you. I don't think he wants to tell me. Yeah. We're actually broadcasting for the Weather Channel right now, so we're showing everybody how much snow Boston has on the ground.
Yeah, we'll cut this part out. How's that? But that little snide thing, you look at him. How long's it going to take?
See that? Obviously, shoveling out right now is not something that everybody wants to do.
Holy cow, those Bostonians are a little tough up there. I can't remember if the Red Sox or Patriots didn't win that year, but they must not have. Anyway, if you notice, I almost want to play that again. And I think I'm going to, because I want you to notice. Oh, I guess I can't go back. Okay, there it is. But watch my producer in the back seat.
How you doing there, young man?
Good.
All right?
What type of job
So watch right about here.
20 minutes, an hour?
Why?
Well, I just want to know how long you think it's going to take you.
The window goes down. There's the hand. He's like waving the guy over into the shot.
We're actually broadcasting for the Weather Channel right now, so we're showing everybody how much snow Boston has on the ground.
Yeah, we'll cut this part out. How's that? But that little snide thing, you look at him. How long's it going to take?
See that? Obviously, shoveling out right now is not something that everybody wants to do.
All right, so I didn't know my producer was doing that. So I think that's what ticked him off. When I saw it afterwards, I was like, Steve, why did you wave him over? Oh, I was trying to get him in the shot. Well, don't do that. Do that next time, all right? That's not a good thing. All right. I don't know what it is, guys, but I've actually been in the field during 5 different thunder snow episodes when they've happened while I've been on the air. Now, thunder snow isn't super rare, but it's rare when you're on the air and it happens. All right, and what it is, if you think about a typical thunderstorm that happens in the summer, it's kind of the same physics, but it just happens above the cold air. So when the precipitation comes down, it comes down as snow, heavy snow. And it's usually pretty intense snow that it's going on. So these are 4 of the 5 episodes that I was a part of during live television. And what's really interesting is I've also been in thunder sleet, and I've been in thunder freezing rain. But those happen during the day, so those don't look as sexy. All right, and we're going to go from the February 5th, the 2015, all the way back to 1996, which was my first one in Worcester, Massachusetts. Enjoy.
Oh, yes! 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 We got it, baby! We got it! We got it! Woo! Woo! We got it! Yes! Listen to that! Listen to that! Oh, baby!
Well, I heard it was a busman out plus cars oh! Listen to that! Son of a... That's unbelievable! How about a little thunder and lightning, Heather? There it is, right there. Oh. There it is, man. We just got a beautiful flash of lightning here with it. Oh. Whoa! Is that lightning? Christina! What? We just had a snow. We just had a lightning strike and thunder here in Worcester.
You know the scariest thing about that is I can hear my voice change going back in time. It was a little bit, right? So talk about calling your shot. Well, Bill and Heather, how about a little thunder? Boom, there it is. So that was just totally weird that happened. But it's interesting, being a Vermonter, I had never had a thunder snow experience in Vermont. So back in '96 when I got it in Worcester, I never had experienced that. But I used to do the Fox NFL Sunday game with Howie and all those guys. And they still have that show, which is awesome. But they would have me on there to do some of the football forecasts with them. And so Howie decided to take him on himself and say, Cantore, you know what? If you're such a great meteorologist, why are you asking somebody else if that's thunder and lightning? What could I say to that? I was just like, gosh, Howie, you're right. Anyway, all right, so this one that happened in 2015 is an awesome story, okay? Because, like I said, remember 2015, 2016, we're living in Boston. We're covering snow all the time. So the Weather Channel calls up one day and they said, you know, Cantore, the winds are going to be about 55 miles an hour in Plymouth. And I said, what's the difference between 45 and 55 miles an hour in a blizzard? Is anyone going to know that? Because we're comfortable. We're at the Long Wharf Marriott. You know, we're eating and like kings. I'm getting points left and right. Anyway, I don't want to leave. I'm comfortable. So I'm like, all right, fine. You know what? My producer, Steve Pederak, and I, let's get a change of scenery. So we go down to Plymouth, Massachusetts. And February 15th, the next morning rolls around. Reynolds Wolf took my place in Boston. So he's got Boston duty. Well, I've got snow duty in Plymouth. And Plymouth is just south of Boston. It's about an hour and a half drive south of Boston. So it's down there on the Cape. And so I see Reynolds get thunder snow at about 5:05 in the morning. I was crushed. I literally just went like this, face down in the snow, and I'm crying like a 2-year-old because he got the thunder snow and I didn't. Until about 15 minutes later.
Oh, yes, 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 we got it, baby. We got it, we got it. Woo! Oh, again, that's a twofer. That's a twofer, baby. Yes, yes, again, that's a 3. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. He picked up and through here. And there's another one. That's number, you gotta be kidding me. I could hear thunder, so we had another one. So we actually had five strikes, 5 thunder. I mean, this is just a total change. Literally within an hour, was that another one? Was that, oh my good, dude, that's number 6.
All right, so the inside baseball of this whole thing is, I've been in Boston the whole winter, all right? They call me, they say, let's put Reynolds there. Let's give Reynolds a shot at Boston, Massachusetts. I'm like, oh, so I go down to Plymouth. I go down there. I see Reynolds get the thunder snow first. I was crushed. I was demoralized. My face went down in the snow. 15 minutes later, I got it. And I got it again. And I got it again. And I got it again. The rest is history. It was a great day at the office.
So the reaction, the hysteria, stemmed from me seeing Reynolds get it first and being so demoralized. So when I got it, it was like a, I mean, I was just elated. I'm like, I got it now. So I went nuts. I mean, I really did. My favorite reaction, though, is not my own. Later that day, a gentleman from Kansas sent me a Twitter video of his daughter.
Oh, yes, 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 we got it, baby. We got it, we got it. Woo! Yes, again, that's a 3. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. Pederak. Oh my God.
Yeah. Isn't that great? So I couldn't believe. So, I mean, you know, it's really funny because nowadays, if something happens to you on the air, you don't just play it once. They're like, we're going to get a lot of mileage out of that. So somebody put all of those 6 times that I got it that morning together, and we just played it on and on and on. And they were watching the Weather Channel, and obviously to see the little girl just go crazy totally made my day. All right, so sometimes when we go to colleges to do live broadcasts, it doesn't work out so great. One time I was in Nebraska for an ice storm, and I had this guy walking behind me with a big horse head. And then, of course, he comes on top of me and mauls me, and I didn't do anything about it, and I felt like such a candy butt. So I said to myself, I actually, after he did that, I essentially said, cut my mic, cut my mic. And I said, I will never let that happen again. Never. I've had it. I've had it with people coming up to me when I'm on the air and attacking me. I mean, do people come up when you guys are working and maul you at your desk? No. Well, I don't expect people to do it to me either. So I kind of have this thing now where I'm a little ready for it. All right? And I was at the College of Charleston, and this was during the big Atlanta snow jam when Atlanta locked up. I said, who cares about a couple inches of snow in Atlanta? Well, you saw what happened. But I said, I want the ice storm in Charleston, because I think that's more, it's going to be worse. If they get ice in Charleston, I usually go there to cover hurricanes. So anyway, for whatever reason, we went down to Charleston. They sent us down to Charleston. And remember, I've always got this in the back of my head now. So I'm going to show you the incident. But what's even more amazing is the fact that it got picked up by late night television.
This is impressive. Weather Channel reporter Jim Cantore was at the College of Charleston in South Carolina. He got a surprise visitor, as reporters on the Weather Channel often do, but Jim did not let that interrupt his report.
Now, I've come to Charleston a few times before to cover tropical storms and hurricanes, but not an ice and snowstorm, which is what we're expecting. We have not gotten into the worst part of this storm yet. That is to come a little bit later on tonight. So, obviously, here at the College of Charleston, they're already having a good time.
It's like the Chuck Norris of meteorologists. He didn't even look away from the camera. Let's see just that part again.
That is to come.
His nuts on an early spring break. I thought that was impressive. So we got in contact with Jim. He joins us live now via satellite. Let's go. Hi, Jim. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Jim.
Really?
That was quite a moment. I guess you have to be ready for anything out there, huh?
Right, especially when you're shooting live.
Yeah, have you had run-ins before with nuts like that?
Every once in a while, someone does something silly. I'm just so focused and do so many of these reports, I really don't even remember.
Okay, well, you know, that actually looked like something right there. Do you have bodyguards with you? Anyone to protect you or anything like that?
It's funny you say that. No, not really. Just me, an audio guy, and my camera guy. They're pretty busy too, so there's nothing much they can do if something goes down.
It seems to me like you've had a couple of altercations just since we've been speaking here.
Nah, you could be right. I'm just so accustomed to reporting the weather that I just,
Well, that is Jim Cantore from the Weather Channel. He's
Anyway, yeah. So the reason I knew I was headed for issues with that was after the incident, I just kind of went back to the truck and I was like, oh God, all right. So I sit down at my computer and I see like 7,000 notifications. So BuzzFeed catches it, they tweet it out, and it just goes boom, viral. That was crazy. That was crazy. Anyway, what's really interesting is I wish I had a picture of the look on my cameraman's face, on my producer's face, on my audio guys. They were like, anyway, if you guys know anything about self-defense, you know I missed the target. Because when you hit the target, that person goes down immediately. So my thought was, as I heard the screaming coming at me, target drops, I finish my report, and before I throw it back to the studio, I help them up, right? That would have been the ultimate shot. Anyway, close but no cigar. All right, so Hurricane Michael just last year, and remember what I told you, we are now hosting the show. So even on the other side of a building doesn't necessarily mean you're protected.
I tried to get down on the beach with my cameraman, but the sand is relentless. I mean, because...
Yeah, that was close. Little 2x4 flying in the air. Did you guys catch that? We'll show it again. So watch the 2x4 on
I
the
tried
right.
to get down on the beach with my cameraman, but the sand is relentless. I mean, because...
So off camera, Jim runs over to his producer and I said, give me that damn helmet. Because I wasn't wearing a helmet. Because I'm like, we're out of the eye wall, so I don't really think I have to worry about anything. But you do, because so much stuff just gets flying around, even in a 70 to 90 mile an hour wind. All right, so here's another story. We're at this hotel. We're in Panama City Beach, not Panama City, but Panama City Beach, which is outside the western eye wall of Michael. And remember Michael? Michael was a beast. 155 mile an hour hurricane. It was an hour away from becoming a Cat 5, really, for October, which is amazing. So NBC's there, Carrie Sanders is there, and we used to have a partnership with NBC, and it was great, and I love Carrie. But everybody's always watching everybody else's shots. And they want that shot. Oh, that's a better shot. They want that shot. So you kind of see, movement, if possible, with crews. So Carrie comes out and takes our shot. I was like, he's poaching our shot. This is our shot out here on this side. And anyway, let me show you. Let me show you what happened. There's Carrie.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So I took the high road, regardless of the poaching. Notice I had the helmet on too at that time. So that was after the little 2x4 incident. But it was, Kerry was heading for the pool. He was heading for the pool. It's really amazing when you're out there because this little thing called the Venturi effect, which is taking mass and putting it through a smaller area, it has to accelerate. We went through one of those little areas walking back. And you could see Kerry he was heading off to the pool. But I won't lie to you guys. For a couple of seconds, I thought to myself, what if I just let him go in the pool? No. All right, so we are in a great age of technology for my business, especially when we can actually show you what's happening three-dimensionally with the weather. And so there's this new technology, and I don't really know what it is, immersive mixed reality. And essentially you're immersing yourself, the talent, with like a video game. I become part of a video game. And if you've ever seen some of these high-end video games now on Xbox and PlayStation 4, it's pretty real, okay? So that's what we're doing with weather now. And we've done storm surge, we've done hurricane EF scale, we've done fires and things like that. And I got a chance a couple of weeks ago to do an ice storm. But what's really interesting about this immersive mixed reality is you're not standing in front of anything but a green wall. So I have to look at the right spots on the green wall. I have to act a little bit, because I can't hear any sound. I don't know when the sound is coming, but I just have to know where to look, and they're going to have to put that in afterward. So it's me. There's a lot of people that go into this. Believe me, these things take like 25 days to make. You've got a cameraman who's got to move the camera at the right time, and another person who's advancing the graphics on my words and my cue. All right, so this is the latest one that we've done on Ice Storm.
Check out this blizzard. I am up in the clouds, way up as a matter of fact. About 6,500 feet. It's a long way down there. Snow's flying all over the place, and wait for it. Yes, thunder snow, baby. How do I always get myself in these situations? We'll save that for another segment. All right, listen, this is a monster winter storm, but there's a wrinkle in the forecast. Let's take this down a little closer to the ground. And I'll show you what. All right, there is so much warm air feeding into this beast that these falling snowflakes are actually melting. In fact, most of the precipitation around me is rain, which is not good because down near the ground and on the ground, we've got temperatures holding at 29 degrees. Listen, the cold air so dense, it remains locked in place. The warm air has to go up and over that cold air, and the rain doesn't have time to refreeze into sleet pellets. So now, we have to deal with accumulating ice. Just 1/10 of an inch makes roads and sidewalks extremely slippery. 1/4 of an inch can break branches and cause spotty power outages. And once you're over 1/2 inch, serious problems ensue. Ice storms can cause billions of dollars in damage. They can hit ground transportation, aviation, and power sectors really hard. I mean, just look at these power lines. All right, those icicles must be, oh, gee, you gotta be kidding me. Where did that come from? That giant icicle just fell from his cell tower. These ice missiles can reach speeds of 90 miles an hour and land 1,000 pounds of force. Just look around. Ice collects on everything. Look at the stress on these power lines. Hundreds of pounds of excess weight, causing them to sag and sometimes even snap the poles that they're attached to. And you know what? The same goes for the trees. Ice can increase the weight of the branches by 30 times. You hear that? Oh, I think this thing's coming down. Here it comes. Oh! Holy smoke! Whoa, and up! There goes the power! Power's out. Thank goodness nobody was sitting in that bench. You know what? Look around. There's nobody out here. Nobody on the roads. Businesses are shut down. Schools closed. That's exactly the way it should be when you have an ice storm of this magnitude. What the heck is that? You gotta be kidding me. A bus? I obviously spoke too soon. This is not gonna end well. Look, the bus is already starting to slide. Look at that. 150,000 plus accidents per year. It doesn't matter if you're in a heavy bus or a four-wheel drive. You're gonna slide on the ice. 40,000 people get injured on average. And you know what? I hope this bus stops. 500 people lose their lives. That's 500 too many. You know what? It's a good thing that there are no passengers on this bus. You don't ever want to be on the road in these conditions. You're putting yourself and others at risk. Stay at home and be ready to deal with an extended time without power because the crews are not going to be able to get to power until the ice storm is stopped. I've had enough of this. Stay safe. I'm out of here.
So that's where we're going with weather. And as we look forward to the future, we want to have probably about 80% of our on-air with this immersive mixed reality in real time. So imagine standing in Nashville and you've got this huge squall line coming at you with these 50,000-foot towers. Can we put that to scale? We'll see. That's what we're going to try and do. But that's what the future holds for weather, to be able to really show everybody what it's like to be out there, even though we're not necessarily out there. So maybe I don't have to worry about 2x4s anymore. I doubt it. We'll be out there in those. Guys, keep fighting the good fight. And I will too. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Another big hand for Jim Cantore.
Thank you.
Let's flip my book here. There we go. Don't you all wish you had a passion for your job the way Jim has a passion for his job? We know the governor has a passion for his job this way, and I love what we're doing at UCAIR. As a token of our appreciation, we have a gift for you, and it's from Ski Utah.
Oh,
It includes some passes so you can enjoy going up and skiing.
Anybody want to go skiing tomorrow?
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, I think a number of people would like to ski with Jim. Thank you, Jim, so much for coming.
My pleasure.
Thank you for your friendship. Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Cantore.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Larry. Thank you.
Folks, on your tables, we have a few things for you. doTERRA has provided cards, not cars. Missy, can you get us some cars? No? Okay. Cards with clean air tips along with a bottle of their product, Breathe. Additionally, each one of you has been provided with a Show You Care cling for your car and a stress ball in the shape of a cloud when you're really feeling it. Please enjoy these gifts as a reminder of your evening here tonight and your commitment to Show You Care. As we conclude this tremendous evening, I want to leave you with one final word of encouragement. Some of you may remember last year's summit, where I shared with you the theory of the aggregation of marginal gains, where everyone's small changes add up to significant outcomes. Together, we have made unimaginable strides in our progress towards clearing our air. As you've likely heard me say many times, there are no perfect answers, but there are practical solutions. I thank each of you here for putting those practical solutions into practice. I hope you've heard tonight that all of those small actions taken together are producing real positive change. Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Jim. Thank you to our board. Thank you to Merit. Thank you to all of our sponsors. And thank you for coming out tonight and showing that you care. Have a great night. Drive safely.